Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this election day. Charlotte Deleste is in for Susan Simon, who's on assignment. We'll see her later on in later newscast. She's at the Tony Evers campaign.
Several times we will see her.
Throughout the day. Busy, busy day.
Oh, it's a huge day.
And you still have 4 hours to vote, so...
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
You said you had a line when you were voting today.
Not long, 1 o'clock. But I was number 1,400, so...
Yeah, but it's been amazing today.
The turnout, they're saying it could rival the 2016 presidential election.
And like you said, plenty of time to get out there and vote if you haven't already.
Right. Do it at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
or 6, I don't know. Anyway, moving along, topping today's news, voters in Wisconsin are headed to the polls casting their ballots in what could become a record-setting midterm.
Midterms are happening across the country as well, and analysts say the youth vote could make all the difference.
And our area is getting a life-saving tool after one local family suffers an unimaginable loss. But first, let's take a look at the weather. The rain sort of stopped, so that's helping.
Yes.
Helping people. It's kind of wet this morning.
We got lucky because, we thought it was going to be all really rainy and windy and just bad.
They took the alert day out of the forecast. So the weather words, hope you voted for cold, because that's who's going to win in the next few days. Dana Fulton's in the backyard weather patio. At least the rain stopped.
Yes, if I had to put my money on anybody, it'd be the cold heading into the end of the week. It is still a little breezy for us. We do have a gusty evening ahead, but the rain has wrapped on up. That's been good news. We had a soggy start to the day. Showers right now, just a few little isolated light showers along the eastern edge of the state, but otherwise just a kind of cloudy, dreary end to our Tuesday. Good day to just stay inside and follow News 3 throughout the rest of the evening. Temperature-wise, we're close to 42 in Madison right now, about 43 in Janesville, and 41 in Lone Rock, so it is a little cool, and in the last 24 hours we've dropped yet again. That cool down trend is really going to continue for the rest of the week. A big drop by this weekend. It is a little breezy, sustained wind speeds at 21 miles per hour in Monroe, and we've seen wind gusts today in the 30s. So we'll stay windy overnight. Good news though, our wind will die down just a little bit for tomorrow. May see some sun in the morning, but variable cloudiness throughout the day, and notice tomorrow afternoon another cool day for us. Below average temps through the rest of our 7-day. We'll get more on that in just a few minutes. Right now I want to hop onto the roads and see what's going on our roadways right now with our first alert traffic update. Seeing a lot of green for us. That's good news. This is a look at 3990 right at County Road T, cruising along just fine. If you take a little closer look at the Beltline, we're seeing a little bit of red right now. Traveling about 32 miles per hour just towards that 39 and 12 intersection. Things smooth right there right now. And if we bounce down to Janesville, other than construction, should have a pretty smooth drive through the Janesville area. Drive times all look good. Again, a lot of green for us currently. We'll keep a close eye. No accidents to report or anything. But please drive safe as you're heading home or if you're heading on out to the polls. We'll have a little other update again on traffic and, of course, a closer look at the full week ahead in just a few minutes.
Grab a jacket on your way out.
Yes, definitely.
All right, Dan, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
First at 4, in just a few hours, we will start getting results from the midterm election races.
Democrats are expected to win the House of Representatives. 8 out of 10 battleground state voters believe Democrats will try to impeach the president if that happens, but Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi says they will not go after Republicans, quote, the way they went after us. Meantime, there have already been problems at the polls. Arizona and Indiana reported internal polling issues at some locations.
We had a couple of locations that were not open because of a key problem at a church. One polling site that had a technical problem out in Mesa. That has been solved.
Officials say these locations saw larger than expected turnout, causing electronic poll books to overload. President Trump has no public events today, but we'll be watching the results come in at the White House tonight.
In Wisconsin, we are following all our big races on the ballot today. The latest Marquette poll shows Republican Governor Scott Walker and his challenger, Democrat Tony Evers, virtually tied at 47%. That tie means an intense national focus on Wisconsin's results in the race for governor. One of the 3 major statewide races has seen a frenzied push to the finish. And Chief Political Reporter Jessica Arp joins us live from Waukesha with what we're seeing in these final hours. Good afternoon, Jess.
Well, good afternoon. Yeah, this race, if you've watched any of the national discussion, is one of the races that is being watched across the country today because of those numbers you just showed. This race for the governor of Wisconsin is considered a toss-up. Governor Scott Walker, who voted early this year, is running for a 3rd term in the state house. He was elected in a Republican wave election in 2010, and he's been warning of a possible blue wave this year to help his supporters get out to the polls. He's been emphasizing the state's low unemployment rate and his work to cut taxes, telling his supporters repeatedly that electing his opponent would take the state backward. That opponent, State Superintendent of Schools Tony Evers, voted this morning in Madison with his wife Kathy. He served 3 terms in his current job and has been running, saying it's time for a change in the state house and that he wants to do more than he's been able to do as state superintendent. He's touted plans to send more funding into public schools, as well as cut income taxes for middle-class residents. Now, these 2 candidates collectively have hit dozens of spots over the state over the last few days. They are trying to rally their base, get their supporters out to the polls. There's also been a huge emphasis on health care in this race. You've likely seen it in either news coverage, ads that you've seen on television. There's a huge emphasis on pre-existing conditions, how they would be covered, could they be covered in the future, and how these candidates each will handle it. It likely is a huge issue that's driving folks out to the polls today.
Jessica, thank you.
Another big race this cycle, the Wisconsin Senate race. Senator Tammy Baldwin is fighting to keep her seat against her Republican challenger, Leah Vukmir. Last week's Marquette Law School poll showed Baldwin with a significant lead over Vukmir, 54% to 43%. So, will the Republicans be able to take control of both Senate seats, or can Democrats keep their seat? Rose Schmidt is live at Monona Terrace to tell us about the candidates vying for the Senate position. Rose?
That's right. We are expecting this room to be filled tonight with supporters of Democrat Tammy Baldwin. She's hoping to get reelected to the U.S. Senate. But standing in her way is Republican challenger Leah Vukmir. She's a state senator. Now, Vukmir is rallying tonight with her supporters in Pewaukee. She actually voted this morning bright and early in her hometown of Brookfield after completing her Wisconsin Way tour around the state. The fight over health care, as Jessica mentioned, has been dominating in this race as well. Vukmir is a longtime opponent of the Affordable Care Act and has said she would be the deciding vote to repeal that federal law. But she's also said she would fall in front of a truck before she would let people with pre-existing conditions go without insurance coverage. Meanwhile, Baldwin voted last Thursday on the UW-Madison campus. It was a push to get Democrats to vote early, and she was surrounded by college students, the hardest demographic to get to the polls. Baldwin is a longtime supporter of the Affordable Care Act and told me that she would work to fix that law. She has said if the law were to be repealed, she would act immediately to make sure people with pre-existing conditions would never be without coverage. Now, the latest Marquette Law School poll, as we just mentioned, showed Baldwin leading Vukmir in the double digits. So we'll have to see tonight whether or not those results hold true. And we're hoping to hear from both of those candidates on News 3 at 5 and 6.
We'll see you in later newscast. Rose Schmidt live at Monona Terrace. Thank you. And the third major race, Attorney General. It's a close one, but the Marquette poll shows incumbent Republican Brad Schimmel with a 2-point lead over Democrat Josh Kaul. However, 7% of people still do not know who they're voting for, so it could be either candidate.
Many people have been predicting this election would bring about more voters than usual. The absentee ballot count in Wisconsin broke the record as we first reported on this last night. While many vote absentee, there's also a large turnout at many polling locations today. Jamie Perez joins us live at a polling location on South Park Street, and she has an update on polling turnout so far. Jamie?
That's right. Well, you just said it, and we've pretty much been seeing it all day. Long lines forming at a lot of polling places. Some people even saying that they've waited up to an hour to get their votes in. Now, some counties have not given an updated report as to how many number of voters they've been seeing because they've been so busy in the field. But here's some numbers that we do have. The Dane County Clerk says 50% of registered voters have voted as of this afternoon. Madison is counting in around 29% voter turnout, and that's with 6 wards that have not yet reported. And that number also includes absentee and in-person voters. Now, that's more than 45,000 voters just in Madison. We also have numbers for Sun Prairie. They've counted more than 6,000 voters, and a lot of people are saying they have very long lines at every polling place there in Sun Prairie. In Janesville, numbers around 11,000 so far, but they say they estimate that by the end of the night, they're thinking they'll top out around 28,000 voters. Sauk County Clerk could not give me specific numbers, but say they were predicting that 55% of eligible voters would turn out, and now saying that they think they'll be able to have a much higher turnout than that. They said they actually had to order more ballots because they were running short. Now, based on some of these numbers, people think we are on pace to break records. Now is the time that people are getting off work, so people are expecting a lot more activities to spark from now until the polls close at 8. And like you said, there's just a little under 4 hours now to get your votes in. So make sure you get in line and make your voices heard. I'll join you live at 5 and 6 again with some updated numbers.
All right, Jamie, thank you.
A record number of those voters today are expected to be young. A Harvard University study estimates 40% of people under the age of 30 will vote. 54% of young Democrats said that they are definitely voting, compared to 43% of young Republicans. CBS spoke to young voters about the issues most important to them.
And I'm voting because where I'm from in Texas, extremely close political race, and I think every vote matters.
My name is Astoria, and I'm voting because I want to be the change that I wish to see in the world.
My name is Carla, and I'm not voting due to my legal status. I've been here for more than half of my life, and I have no rights.
My name's Harrison, and I'll be voting red in this midterm election because the government has gotten to be a little bit too swollen, and there's too much government spending, and we need to cut it down.
My name is Patricio, and I'm voting because as a recently naturalized citizen, I didn't have the opportunity to vote in the 2016 elections, and I want to use my new voice for those that don't have
one. My name is Saf, and I'm not voting because I did not feel represented in the last election.
I'm Elena, and I'm voting in this election because I feel like I won the lottery by being born in America, where we have a democracy, and I give a damn.
I'm not voting because I don't feel passionate enough about any of the issues.
And I'm voting because voting is our superpower.
I'm not voting in the midterm elections because I'm just busy.
Hi, my name's Cole, and I'm voting to keep Republicans in power because I want to show that young people are conservatives.
My name is Mamoon, and I'm voting because we need to get Trump out of here.
My name's Jude, and I'm voting because it's my duty as a citizen and a human being to ensure a future for all people.
My name is Maddie, and I'm voting because I'm from Arizona, and there's an open and contested Senate seat, and I want my voice to be heard.
My name is Avery, and I'm voting to help those who have been disenfranchised and use my privilege for good.
My name is Christine, and I'm voting because I want to protect the rights that so many women before me fought for.
I'm Naveed, and I'm a proud voter. I'm voting because it's my duty as a citizen to vote, and as an immigrant from Afghanistan, we unfortunately don't have opportunities like this in certain countries. So if you're a citizen, and if you have the power to vote, please go out there and make a difference.
Interesting to hear all those voices. Millennials are surpassing baby boomers as America's biggest and most diverse voting bloc. Get out and vote.
Yeah, bottom line.
Southwest Wisconsin is about to get a new life-saving tool, all thanks to one couple's unimaginable loss.
We'll tell you about an effort in Southwest Wisconsin to save more lives, all in the name of a 9-month-old boy. Stay with us.
Stocks edged up on Wall Street as voters go to the polls. The Dow Industrials added 173 points, ending the day at 25,635. The Nasdaq Composite Index gained 47. The S&P 500 was up 17. Well, there is a new tool coming to Southwest Wisconsin, the first of its kind in the state, that'll help first responders potentially save more lives.
This is more than a year in the making, but for the family behind it, the LifeVac is well worth the wait because they know more than most just how precious time can be. Leah Lynchide reports from Fenimore.
Matt and Courtney Brigman are used to counting time.
He's a little stinker.
10 years to be exact, after two beautiful girls, finally.
He was our first boy, and he was all boy. His sisters loved him, of course.
Oh my God, this is so... Cayman was worth the wait.
Just put a smile on everyone's face.
Always counting their blessings, this family never thought to count their minutes with Cayman until 2 years ago.
Yeah, we were all home.
Cayman was playing with his big sister when he swallowed a bouncy ball. Nearly 2 inches big, the Brigmans couldn't get it out. First responders tried too. They took him to the local hospital, who had him med-flighted to Madison.
That's when we got the news when he got to Madison that there was nothing.
Cayman was declared brain dead.
Some days it feels like it was yesterday, and other times it feels like it happened years ago.
Time now seems twisted for Mom and Dad.
The flashbacks, I guess that'd probably be the hardest part, is me remembering what his face looked like when he was trying to get the ball out. Like, I could tell that he was going because he wasn't getting oxygen. That's the hardest part.
The fact of the matter is there just wasn't much that we could have done.
Nate Flynn runs the EMS division at the Fenimore Fire Department. He wasn't there that night, but he spent a lot of time thinking about what if he was.
We have very few tools.
Courtney and Matt realized that reality too and asked their doctor what could have helped in Cayman's situation. They came up with this.
This is the family LifeVac one.
This is what actually causes the suction.
You have an adult mask and a pediatric mask.
Just fits on like such.
And then you just put it over your mouth and pull it out.
And the pull back is actually what draws that suction and hopefully dislodges whatever in the airway.
The LifeVac is FDA approved. You can buy it on Amazon yourself for $70. But it still needs special permission from the state to be used by EMS agencies. Fenimore is the first to ask about it.
In our situation, seconds mattered. Like, it would just be nice to have another option.
Knowing what she went through in the service, there's not a lot that we can do sometimes, but anything that we can do to kind of help our odds, we're all for it.
The state approval process has taken more than a year. Lately, Nate is heading up that effort because the Brigmans are busy counting weeks. 39 of them, actually. Courtney is pregnant.
We found out that we're expecting a boy, so that has been difficult.
Courtney's due date and the 2-year anniversary of Cayman's death are just days apart.
Cayman completed our family. So then when we lost him, yeah, and then finding out that you're having another boy, I guess I feel like he was my boy, so I can't have another boy as sweet as him.
Like it always does, time has passed since we first talked to Matt and Courtney. The anniversary of Cayman's death has come and gone, and so did Courtney's due date. Their baby boy was born without a heartbeat.
You just ask a lot of why. Why would this happen again? Like, what did we ever do to deserve this?
They're together on on the other side, and they're here with us, so.
Maybe it's with help from both their angels that this news finally came.
The state has approved the LifeVac for the ambulance here in Fenimore.
2 unimaginable losses, 2 years of wondering what if, and 2 parents who no longer need to count time.
You have to do something positive out of a tragedy, and it just, that's what keeps us going. knowing that we could potentially save other people.
In Fenimore, I'm Leah Lynchide for WISC News 3.
You just wonder how people get through things.
I know. Fenimore plans to have all its first responders trained on how to use the Life Vac in the coming weeks.
And it should be in place in their ambulance by December 1st, and our best to that family. Well, still to come on Live at 4, while smart features in your car could be keeping you safer, it could also be costing you more in repairs.
So is it worth it? See for yourself when Live at 4 continues.
Take a look at this. This mysterious object spotted tumbling through our solar system last year may have been an alien spacecraft sent to investigate Earth. At least that's what astronomers from Harvard University suggest in a research paper. The Oumuamua was first discovered by a telescope in Hawaii. It was traveling at speeds of 196,000 miles an hour. That high speed is what Harvard astronomers are basing their report on. We may never know if they're correct. What we do know is that the Oumuamua is the first object ever seen in our solar system that's known to have originated elsewhere. Yikes.
else.
What? Think maybe we should have led with this?
Yeah. Right.
Aliens in our solar
Breaking news.
All right.
It'll be okay.
It's Tuesday, November 6th. Remember to vote. It's also Marooned Without a Compass Day, which we sometimes feel like around here.
A little lost.
Yeah.
That happens. It is National Saxophone Day. It commemorates the birth of the woodwind's inventor, Adolph Sax. The saxophone is one of the main instruments in jazz music.
And the opening to The Simpsons.
That's right. Lisa Simpson's favorite instrument.
Yes. It's also Nachos Day, National Nachos Day. There we go. They were first created sometime right around 1943. The popular and very loved chips were created in Mexico. So what are your guys' favorite nacho toppings?
Well, I think I got it here. Cheese.
Cheese?
Yeah.
I like the jalapenos, and you have to have guac too.
Yeah.
I agree with the guac. I'm not a jalapeno fan. I'm not a spicy
No,
gal.
I'm not either. I can't eat. You can, you can have my jalapenos.
I will
You can have
gladly
them all.
have your jalapenos.
I like it smothered in kale.
What?
No, you
she's
don't.
she's a big kale fanatic.
They always they give me issues.
I love kale chips too. Yes.
There you go. You could have.
Yes,
We can
I
have-
found
Could you have-
somebody else
Yes.
here who likes kale.
Could you have kale nacho chips?
We can make it
could.
happen.
Oh yeah.
There you
Probably
go.
a Google or Instagram
There
account
you go.
for that.
We'll do
life,
that.
life is good.
Life is very good. Life is better with kale.
And the rain
It
stopped.
is.
That's good.
It has stopped finally for us. We're looking at a dry but a little dreary evening for us and a very, very cold into the week. Let's take a closer look at that forecast right after the break.
And I'm wearing my kale socks.
Thankfully, the rain wrapping up for us, but it is still just a little dreary outside. Looking at our Doppler track, we have some light showers still lingering on the eastern side of the state. But that large mass of green, all that moisture we had come through last night and early this morning, as you can see, nice cleared on out of here. But outside, it is still quite overcast, and we are going to stay quite cloudy overnight. In the last 24 hours, we did have some very heavy rainfall come through late last night through downtown Madison. So that was where the bulk of our accumulation has come from. We saw about 1.5 inches fall in the last 24 hours for parts of Dane County, and then most of the area picking up closer to about 1/2 inch or just a few tenths of an inch in the last 24 hours. But yes, we do have these isolated areas in that 1.5 inch range. Overall, with that rainfall that we've had so far in the last 24 hours, adding that in, that puts us at 48 inches for the year. So the third wettest year on record in Madison. We're very close to getting to second place. First place still just a little far off in the distance. Not saying it's impossible to get that much, though, as we work the way through November and into December. We still have plenty of time to already be at third place. Our system is now well off to the edge of Michigan, pulling all that moisture away with it. We stay fairly cloudy again overnight. We'll actually get a little bit of sun, though, as we head towards the middle of the week for parts of Wednesday and Thursday. And then our next bout of moisture is going to come on in by the end of the week. Some cooler air shifting in as well. So mostly cloudy tonight. Temperatures are going to fall quite a bit heading into tomorrow morning. We're close to freezing, but no concerns about any precipitation, so we won't be talking about any flurries or anything as we start off our Wednesday. Throughout the afternoon, a variable cloudy sky and then some sun coming through really later on in the day. Temperatures will be below average. And you can hold on to that trend as we head towards the weekend. Very cool into the week for us. We have sun throughout the evening. Overnight heading into Thursday, another cold night. It is going to be cooler or clearer outside. So with that clearer sky, our temps are going to fall even more into the mid-20s to start off Thursday. By Thursday afternoon, we're talking about sunshine, but temperatures only climbing to the mid to upper 30s for us. Clouds notice right off to the west for us on Thursday overnight. Our next chance for some moisture might be shifting on in. We're looking at clouds and the chance for some light snow or flurries even overnight into Friday morning. So don't be surprised if you see quite a bit of the white stuff around. Looking to the eastern side of the state, totals might be towards about 1.5 inches or even 2 inches by Friday afternoon. For Madison right now, we're looking at close to 1 inch, again, of picking up some light snowfall for us by Friday afternoon. So that's overnight Thursday and into Friday morning. May see some snowfall coming on in. Right now, there's the view. We're overcast, no rainfall for us downtown, though. Temperature-wise, we hit about 47 today, not too far off from where our average is at 49. Sunset is at 4:43, so just about 15 minutes away, and then we're done for the evening. Mostly cloudy tonight, breezy, and quite cold as temperatures will fall close to freezing. 32 degrees our overnight low heading into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy, a little windy yet again, and even colder for us. We're looking at highs in the low 40s for afternoon for Wednesday. And that cold trend, again, just sliding right on down as we head towards the end of the week. Today, the warmest day of the week by far. Those clouds and the wind gusts picking up yet again by tomorrow afternoon. 41 degrees. Our overnight lows are also going to drop as it'll be just a little clearer overnight. That light snow chance is going to come in later on in the evening on Thursday after we do get a little bit of sun in the afternoon, but it's going to be a cold sunshine for the day. And then minor accumulation definitely possible for us on Friday. The weekend right now looks quite chilly. Another opportunity for some flurries is going to move in heading into Sunday and Monday. And it is that time of the year where we start to pick up the opportunity to see a little more snowfall just sliding on through again and again and again in different bouts. But we might have a stretch there in the middle of next week where we have a few days in a row where it might not top above freezing in the afternoon already. I know Charlotte asked last night if the 30s are here to stay, and unfortunately we're kind of in it for a little bit. We may have a few more warmer days, but
almost middle of November.
It is.
You know, we were listening to you, blah, 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 snow, and we both, what?
Yeah, he goes, what? It's like squirrel.
Thanks, guys.
Just joking.
Just noise in the background.
Just joking.
What is she talking about over there?
All right.
Yep.
Thank you. We're prepared.
Yes.
New smart features in today's cars are designed to keep you safe.
But a report from AAA shows they also raised the cost of repairs. Katie Kairos reports.
The owner of this Honda CR-V hit a deer. The damage doesn't look that bad, but the technology behind the bumper is going to lead to a costly repair.
What would the bill for a car like this with an impact like this 5 years ago have been compared to now?
A minor impact like this, you'd be talking $1,000, $1,200, give or take. Nowadays, you're looking upwards of $3,000.
Adam Remfer of DeFalco's Auto Repair says that's because the car has a front collision sensor. Many vehicles now have the technology that can help prevent a crash. But a new AAA study finds these high-tech features can double and sometimes even triple repair costs.
How did the owner of this car take the news of that bill?
They were not happy with it, to say the least.
The sensors are all around today's vehicles. For cars with front cameras, even a minor chip in a windshield may lead to a costly replacement.
If you look closely, there's a camera right up top. A minor crack that might not bother a person could blind the camera.
Many of the repairs are covered by insurance, but drivers may be forced to pay more out of pocket.
Because it's going to be that much more expensive, it might lead to a higher insurance premium every month.
Remfer says it will take a few days to get the parts needed to fix this SUV. And the car's computer will also need to be recalibrated to make sure it's working properly. Katie Kairos, CBS News, Chatham, New Jersey.
Doesn't take much, does it?
No, not at all. When you roll into a car wash, there's usually a confusing list of extras, but how do you know?
I'm so interested in
You
this.
just want to eat nachos. How do you know which one to get?
Well, my turn. Consumer Reports reveals which extras are worth it and which just jack up the price. That's when Live at 4 continues. Here's a look at downtown Madison on this election day. A little gray out there, but the rain has stopped, so get out and vote if you haven't already.
When you go to the car wash, are you overwhelmed by all those options? Do I really need a tire and wheel cleaner? What about a special undercarriage wash?
Well, before you go all in, listen to what Consumer Reports car experts have to say about car washes so you're not throwing money down the drain. Leah Lynchite has more.
Let's start with the basics. How often should you wash your car?
I'd say at least once a week or at least once every 2 weeks. I guess that would be the norm.
At least once a week.
Typically every 7 weeks, roundabout.
What do the experts at Consumer Reports say?
It's not about doing it on a schedule. Instead, if you notice your car has mud, road salt, or grime on it, that's the time to wash it.
A good car wash is important to protect the paint and finish from dirt and other debris that can sometimes leave permanent marks like bird droppings, tree sap, and bugs. And what about the dizzying array of extras and add-ons? Are services like wheel shine and spray-on wax worth the extra cost to help protect the car?
Definitely skip the extras. They may make your car look nice, but they'll wear off fast.
But there is one car wash extra you should buy once in a while, but not every time.
The undercarriage wash. Get it done once a season to clean road salt off after a winter and mud and grime off after a wet spring.
Consumer Reports says automatic car washes tend to be less expensive than hand washes. They're a good option if you don't build up a lot of grime. But, of course, you won't get the attention to detail that a hand wash offers. Whether you choose an automatic or hand wash, how do you know if you've chosen a car wash that will actually get the job done right?
Check out the cars leaving the location. Do they look clean? Super cheap car washes may use dirty towels, old, harsh brushes, and rush your car through the process.
And try to find a car wash that sprays down the car before the wash cycle begins. CR says pre-soaking will get you on the road to a cleaner, shinier car. For WISC News 3, this is Leah Lynchide.
And if you prefer to wash your car yourself, remember using the wrong kind of soap, such as dish detergents, can strip a car's finish. And using sponges for cleaning, as many people do, can leave swirl marks in the paint.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I'm glad I don't wash my own car.
You don't have to worry about it.
When we come back, it is election day, and we'll talk with experts from both sides of the aisle.
We'll discuss how important this midterm election is and what to look for as the results start to come in from across the country this evening. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Still good news, a lot of green for us throughout Dane County. No accidents to report. A few areas of construction that aren't new at this point. They've been there for quite some time. Middleton, we're seeing just a little bit of a slowdown heading down 12. The University Avenue area bouncing down towards the Beltline. Speeds eastbound, of course, reduced quite a bit. Westbound seems to be cruising along just fine. Eastbound, we're going at about 21, 25 miles per hour. As we head towards 12, though, things start to, or 39, things start to clear out just a little bit. Drive times from Verona to the Beltline, 6 minutes, 4 minutes, though, from Springfield to University Avenue. We'll keep a close eye on traffic and take one last look at weather in just a few minutes. Guys?
All right, Dana, thank you. Tonight's election coverage on News 3 will include analysis and the races with Two familiar faces.
Matt Rothschild will be covering the Democratic perspective, while Brandon Schultz has the Republican look. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good to see you again.
Good to
Happy
be here.
Election Day.
It is. Finally.
Yeah, finally it is here. So talk about, this is really getting so much attention. What is it that's captivating each of you?
Well, I think Wisconsin has become a very partisan state, and people are very engaged in what's going on, especially for a midterm election. But you have a new president who's engaged in the elections. You have an incumbent governor who's looking for a third term. You've got all sorts of issues that have cropped up, and in an environment that's a little toxic, actually, and it captures people's attention. And I think with the vote turnout today, we're going to see people have been following these campaigns and what they're all about.
On the progressive side, people have been chomping at the bit to try to take Walker down for 3 times now. And also, even more so, I think people on the progressive side really want to register their displeasure, disgust, anger at Donald Trump and the direction he's taking this country. And this is their first opportunity to weigh in on that, and I think they're going to come out in droves to do that today.
Brandon, talk about the Trump effect. Do you think this has an effect in Wisconsin?
I think it does geographically. Certainly in the northern half of the state where Trump did well in the elections and when his job approval is above 50%, that will be an important role up there. Less so in the southeastern part of the state, but there are pockets in like down in the 1st Congressional District where his numbers are relatively strong. So he will have an impact, and what's important there is this is all about each side turning out their base. So anything the Republicans need to turn out their base, including Donald Trump, they'll take. And anything the Democrats can use to turn out their base, including hating Donald Trump, they'll take. So yeah, Trump plays a role. But I'm less certain that, as a lot of people will say, these midterm elections are a referendum on the president in a new term. And I think in this state, as Matt said, a lot of this is about Scott Walker and our elected officials here. So yes, Trump has an impact, he has a role, but I think it's not only about him.
Matt, talk about, we've been hearing a lot that the youth is really the group that's probably going to turn things around on this election. Is that the pulse that you're getting as well?
I think young women are going to turn out in higher percentages than young men, and of course women are more Democratic leaning than men are, so that would bode well for the Democrats this time. And the issues, I think, are really on Tony Evers' side and the Democrats' side. Healthcare is the biggest issue. I mean, usually it's the economy. The economy's doing well. That should help Governor Walker. But with healthcare, and especially this pre-existing condition issue, I mean, everyone has someone in their family who's ill, or they themselves are ill and they need coverage. And you know, Walker and Brad Schimmel have filed this lawsuit saying we got to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which protects people's pre-existing conditions. That put Walker really on the spot here, and I know he's wiggled back, but I don't know if he's done so successfully.
And the last Marquette Law School poll last week has them tied, same number. So it's all about turnout, Matt.
Yeah, turnout is big, and there's been a tremendous effort on the Democratic side, on the progressive side, to register people to vote, to get them excited to vote, to make sure they get to the polls today. And I never, even during the recalls, had so many people come up to me over the last week. How can I help? How can I drive people to the polls? Do you need me to make calls? So there is this intensity on the progressive side that may put Evers over the top.
And the Republicans were worried about complacency, but they seem to be fired up in the last month or so.
They have done 4 million calls. They have done over 1.5 million doors. They have had this coordinated campaign from all of their local candidates up to the top with the governor and others. So it is all about turnout. Each side has, Governor Walker has all the Republicans. Tony Evers has all the Democrats. There's a sliver of independents in the middle that everybody's going to try and get. But you still have to have every single one of those voters turn out. And without it, there's no margin of error. You can't afford to have somebody stay home.
Well, sounds like you have a really boring night ahead of you.
Watching those numbers come in
from
the Wow counties and Madison and
Milwaukee and up in Green Bay in the Valley, and whether there's an upset in the northwest part of the state and what happens in lacrosse, we can just go everywhere in Wisconsin and see what's going to happen.
Buckle up for a long night,
That's
gentlemen.
right.
We'll see you soon.
Thank
you bet.
you.
Thanks.
We'll be right back with the final check of your forecast. All right, the weather's not a factor for the boating.
No, just cloudy right now, but the rain is out of here. As we look ahead, though, do plan on a big cool down. I know for the end of the week and heading into the weekend, we are staying well below average, almost December, early December-like, even though we're still early November. We're knocking on the door at this point. We're knocking on the door for winter. So big cool down for us. Do break out the jacket, the heavy jacket. I think by this weekend would be a good idea.
The medium heavy jacket.
Medium heavy.
We got a long way to go.
Not like heavy. No. Not like the serious heavy, just, like
All right, thank
windy.
you. Thank you, Dana.
Cold.
We'll be right back.
Break down the jackets.
We got a lot.
In today's Final Touch, the Tower of London is hosting a stunning 8-night event.
It's called Beyond the Deepening Shadow, the Tower Remembers. The nightly event recognizes 100 years since the end of World War I. The nightly event fills the tower's moat with thousands of brightly lit torches to commemorate those who died during the Great War, which lasted 5 years and changed Europe